Well, guys, I hope you guys are having a good day. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from the Your Black World, from Your Black World in the Black Business School, and I wanted to jump in before we get started tonight. I'm actually teaching students tonight in the Black Business School. We have something called the Freedom Family, where we help Black families learn how to get free economically and otherwise, and so that's going to happen tonight. But before I get started, you guys know I love to do my show, and I love to do Dr. Boyce TV, the home for intelligent Black people, and so I want to remind you guys that you're in the space that is run and owned by intelligent Black people. So if you're not Black and you're not intelligent, then you might want to get the fuck out because this may not be the place for you. Now I'm gonna let you guys get comfortable, get into the feed. Marcia, I see you. Elle, good to see you. I'm looking for my friends on YouTube as well. I see you guys are coming in. Sabrina, how are you? Tiffany, good to see you. Hey, M. Powell and Ebony and Kareem. Do me a favor, shout out your city. Let me know what city you're from. Trey J, what's going on? Yolandra, how are you? Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. We had a good conversation today. We were talking. I was talking to Danica Marie, and we were talking about relationships and gender roles and a lot of stuff that would probably piss off every feminist within a 1,000-mile radius. What's going on, Kevin and Tamika? Binghamton, New York. I know Binghamton. I know Binghamton. I know Binghamton. I'll just say I know Binghamton. Anyway, let's see here. Master teacher says Cashmere Black. Oh man, you're too kind. Thank you. Sean from Louisville. That's my city. Richmond, Ebony. Tyrone from H-Town. Andrew from Vegas. Kareem from LA. I love LA. Love Baltimore, Detroit. I see a lot of these cities in here that I have a connection to. Nashville. I dated this terrible, terrible girl in college. This girl, her name was Robin, and I dated her in college, and she was really ugly, and she happened to be from Nashville. And so when I see Nashville, I think about that terrible, ugly, ridiculous woman that I wasted my time with in college. Anyway, let's see here. Denise, how you doing? Brooklyn, Blue Marble, and you know when I say ugly, she was ugly on the outside, but I didn't notice how ugly she was on the outside until I saw how ugly she was on the inside. Then I was like, what am I doing here? What am I doing here? You got to know your worth. You got to, in your relation. I'm telling y'all, if you're in a relationship with an ugly person, and I'm not just talking about ugly physically, I'm talking about just ugly. You know what I'm talking about? Just an ugly motherfucker, just like somebody that just needs to be like pushed off a bridge. Just go, move on. Like always know how to get out, get out, get out, get out. You know, that's not just the name of a movie. That should be like a way of life. If somebody comes in your life and they're just bringing bullshit to your life, just get out. Jade, how you doing, Jade? I talked to Jade yesterday. Jade is super smart, and she's like a superhero. She's like a Black female superhero, and she should have a cape, and they should, instead of putting those, you know, they have Captain Marvel. There's this thing. Okay, pay attention. You'll notice in a lot of movies now they have a common theme. The common theme, Alicia and I figured it out. We figured out the code. We broke down the white people's code. The code is that in most of these movies, you have a 100-pound white woman saving the world. That's what it is. It's a 100-pound white woman saving the world. Look at the Marvel movie. Marvel, Captain Marvel and all that, and the Avengers and all. It's a 100-pound white woman saving the world, right? Game of Thrones. A 100-pound white woman saving the world. It's white woman versus white woman, right? Because Arya Stark, if you watch Game of Thrones, Arya Stark killed the Night King, and she's like the littlest one. And then you had Cersei against Daenerys. So Daenerys was going to take down Cersei. It's like blonde white woman against blonde white woman, right? So that's the theme. The theme in Hollywood now, besides other than the fact that they want Black people to either be gay or have no penis, Game of Thrones again. Game of Thrones, y'all. Game of Thrones. The brother ain't got no equipment. He's a bad dude though, bad boy, great soldier, but he ain't got no penis. That's just a fact, right? And then you have the Dothraki soldier, the Dothraki horde. That's what they call them, and they're like, oh, and they're these big savages. And of course, the brown people are the savages and all that. That's Hollywood, right? That's what you're gonna get. Okay. So anyway, hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the thumbs up button. If you haven't hit the thumbs up button, please do that. I'm gonna talk about something that I just read involving speaking of white women. There was this image floating around on the internet that you guys might have seen when you first came into the live stream of a few students at a high school called Memorial High School down in Houston. And it turns out that Memorial, it has this thing called Thug Day or something, where everybody dresses like a thug. right? Now, when you say, okay, dress like a thug, they're going to know what that is, or in their mind they're going to have an image in their mind, and the image in their mind is going to be, what it is with what these young ladies are wearing. It's sagging pants, something in your mouth like a grill, like a gold, platinum, fake gold, whatever. You're gonna have the jerseys. Like, I guess I don't know. I guess the jersey is like the thing to do if you're thugging out. And so I saw this image, and I'm reading this post on Instagram. It has a bunch of white kids dressed with, they got, the tattoos. Forgot the tattoos. There's a uniform for a thug. Like, go watch my homeboy Speech, who's in the group Arrested Development. Speech from Arrested Development, a brilliant brother, a great rapper. He did that song, Tennessee, Tennessee, Lord, I really been real. Y'all remember him? Speech actually did a docu-series y'all gotta see called The Nigger Factory. And basically it was brilliant because he showed like how they just literally crank the nigger mentality out like it's assembly line. You see, the thug nigga, as many black men have so proudly proclaimed themselves to be, like they, we're not sort of wired to proclaim ourselves to be kings and scholars, right? Forget that. Who wants to be a scholar? My God, what the hell's wrong with people like that, right? Instead, it's like, I'm a thug nigga, right? And that thug stuff is manufactured. Why do I know this? Well, because I know business. I have a PhD in finance, right? That's what I do. I told you guys this before, and I repeat it so that you know I'm not just talking out the side of my ass. I know business. I know business models, and I know how business models work. Production, distribution, and monetization. Production, distribution, monetization. You produce the product, you distribute the product, and then you monetize the product. So when it comes to the nigga mentality, the thug nigga mentality, you produce the thug nigga, you distribute the thug nigga, and then you monetize the thug nigga. You got to sell your Negroes. I mean, that's what we've had to do since slavery, or they've done, not us. I ain't selling nobody. All right, but you must produce, distribute, and monetize. So these corporations that are not run by black people, they're run by people who don't look like us. Again, every time somebody rolls up and calls Farrakhan anti-Semitic, I laugh. And I'm reminded of just, the ignorance of white supremacy and how they believe they can just make accusations without proof, right? So there's no proof that Farrakhan is anti-Semitic. But every time they call him anti-Semitic, I just flip the script and just say, well, you're very anti-black. And I got receipts on that. I got receipts on the anti-black nature of the entertainment industry and how they produce the nigger factory. They love to take the very very worst of us, those who will say anything in order to please a crowd full of white people, and they will put those individuals in front of the world, with big gigantic hordes of white folks who are cheering and screaming at their concert while he's run up on stage. I'm a thug nigga. I'm a thug nigga. Right? Whatever the song of the year is, it usually ends with a formula. Right? There's a formula. This is a factory. This is a system. A systematic process. That's how businesses work. That's capitalism at its finest, or actually not at its least finest. How about that? So basically there's a thug uniform, right? So the thug uniform is easily perceptible to young people. White kids pick up on it more than the black kids do. I have kids in the house, and I sometimes get the distinct displeasure of picking up, a car full of little girls from, the skating rink or from Burger King or wherever the hell it is. And I hear the music that they play, and the music is basically, it translates to, I'm a thug nigga, I'm a thug nigga, I'm a thug nigga, right? So here, with Memorial, what you see are some young kids who were babies just a few years ago. Like, they're 15, 17, 16 years old. And on Thug Day, they perhaps consciously or unconsciously, I don't know if they're trying to be racist or not, I can't read minds, but they basically came in and put on their thug uniform based on what they're hearing from the nigger factory, which is the mass production of the image of the black male in particular as a beast. The black male has been marketed around the world as your worst nightmare. the person you don't want marrying your daughter, the person you don't want to invite over to dinner, the person that you don't have anything in common with, the person who needs to be at the bottom of a prison cell. Now, what's interesting is there are some rappers who see this. They eventually understand it. I give a lot of credit to David Banner because David, he got into this. He was a part of all this, and he said, when I saw how black people were being marketed around the world, he said, I can't do this no more. He said, I cannot participate in this because it's unethical for me to help transmit a message or an image of my people that is genocidal in nature. Now, with that said, I want to stop real quick and say thank you, Robert Muhammad, for the donation. You are so appreciated, man. This is really helpful to us because we gotta make the money to be able to push the message. And so every war needs a war chest, and we are at war. We are at war with ignorance, right? And I'm gonna tell you, ignorance is winning, right? We are in a battle against. We fight a two-front war we fighting ignorance on this side and coonery on the other. Right, because you got a lot of intelligent, you got a lot of highly educated coons out here, and then you got the people that just want to be ignorant. So we fighting a battle on two fronts. We fighting ignorance on the left and coonery on the right, and ignorance and coonery are both winning the battles. Right? And so we could use your help. So everything that you ever support us with, if you buy a book, if you sign up for a class, if you come to one of our gathering or one of our events, or you become a patron on the channel, you are helping us to fill our war chest, so that we can build better transmission systems that allow us to basically do the opposite of what the nigger factory does to us. The nigger factory, again, it's a business model: production, distribution, monetization. Well, instead of producing, distributing, and monetizing the thug mentality or the thug nigger mindset, we like to produce, distribute, and monetize the mindset of black excellence. We want to produce, distribute, monetize black intelligence. We want to produce, distribute, and monetize strong black families. And the more you can effectively push that process through, the better you're able to recycle those resources back into black capital, which allows you to start the process all over again. The more you produce, the more you can distribute, the more you can monetize, which means the more you produce, because you monetize more, you can produce more, then you can distribute more, then you can monetize more, then you can produce more, distribute more, Do you follow what I'm saying? It's all a system, it's all a process, right? And so, because effectively what's really going on in America, and the reason that you got all these white kids who think it's okay to do the whole thug thing is because their business models are better than our business models. Their resources are stronger than our resources. So every time I see a white or Jewish man come up to me and try to convince me that Louis Farrakhan is dangerous, I just say, well, there's no evidence that he's dangerous. He hasn't. If he wanted to be dangerous, he could be. If he wanted to get people killed, he could. He just doesn't. So the evidence that he's not promoting violence is the fact that there is no violence. If he were promoting violence, then there would be violence. Because I know that there are plenty of people who would be violent if he told them to be violent, but they're not being violent, which means he hasn't told them to do anything, which means that you're wrong, right? And then when they say he's anti-Semitic, I say, well, actually, you sir, are actually part of a genocidal culture in which you're pushing an Adolf Hitler-like extermination plan onto the black community because you have consistently promoted this image of the black man as a beast and as a thug. And the thing about a beast, the thing about an animal that's scary, like a bear or a lion or something like that, is people don't want to cozy up with a polar bear. They're scared of the bear, right? Or a big black bear. They're not gonna go, they're not gonna want to have a black bear in their house. They're gonna want the black bear to be in a cage or shot. They want the black bear either locked up or underground or 6 feet under. And so many of your children, when they're born, are put in this thug category because they make it cool to be a thug. We want to be thugs. We got young people that grow up saying, oh, I want to be a thug. I want to be a thug, nigga. Mama, I want to be a thug, right? And then they walk right into the traps that are designed for the beast. You either go in a cage or you go in a casket. Pick one. You pick one, right? So, when I saw this image, hit the thumbs up button, by the way. If you haven't hit the thumbs up button, please do that. And I want to say thank you very much. My personal advice on life. Thank you for your support. And also I see Richie the Pup says, thanks for helping me start my business. That Vetstech.com. Drones, HR headsets, action cameras, a black business. That's what I'm talking about, man. Email manager@boycewatkins.com, Rich the Pup. I want you to come on my podcast, talk about your business, man. Email manager@boycewatkins.com. I'm going to have you in and talk about your business. And anybody else who, if you do a super chat, it's like you can donate a couple dollars, whatever you want to do. And if it's highlighted, I will see it, and I will always recite the comment on the super chat. I just want you guys to know that. So what I'm looking at here, is I see these little white kids, and it's easy to just get mad at them, which you should. I mean, they should be held accountable for what they did. That's how you teach, right? You teach by holding them accountable. It's easy to get mad at the parents, which you should, because a lot of times kids do stupid stuff because their parents are stupid. But then again, I think you got to go full circle. You got to look at everybody. You got to look at us. I mean, how many times do we have these images of ourselves out here in the world and we just act like it's okay? It's not like they're getting this from nowhere, from outer space. It's not like they're making these things up. It's easier. Think about this. I know black men who are smart, educated like myself, who do good, take care of their families, and they try to do things like, they'll try to go get on TV, like they'll try to get on CNN or whatever, and they can't get on CNN, but CNN will quickly invite on black people who don't represent the best that the black community has to offer. They either represent, I told you, the battle on two fronts, either ignorance or coonery, one or the other, and then they end up fitting in. I saw, I remember on ESPN, I saw where Lil Wayne of all people, who dresses just like these kids dress, like these are the black people that they're seeing. Lil Wayne was on ESPN and they were asking him these important questions about race in America, things that you would ask Dr. Cornel West. And I'm like, why in the fuck is Lil Wayne giving deep racial commentary on the state of black America? Now, maybe if you want to ask him, how do you hold your blunt when you want to hit it the right way? Or, how do you get 3 women pregnant at the same time and convince them all to have sex with you, even though you having all that sex, a good chance you might have diseases? Or you want to ask him, how are you supposed to hold your gun when you act like you about to shoot somebody? Or you want to ask him how to make a good song in the studio or whatever? Or how do you actually deal with the pain of getting 5,000 tattoos on your face and on your body? How do you stay high all the time and still produce records? Like, if you want to ask him stuff like that, then those are questions that might make more sense to me, right? Those are things that he can answer really well. Like, I don't know. I still don't understand. I'm like, how do you stay high all the time, but you putting out records? Like, and you make it. That's impressive, bro. That's really good. Like, how do you do that? But I'm not going to ask him. So Lil Wayne, there's a debate about reparations in America and the state of the African American community and the blah, 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 blah. What? What the hell, man? Y'all can't find nobody better to talk to about this? So that's one of my protests against white media. One of the reasons why we are in such a rush to try to build black media is because white media is fucking it up. White media got us out here looking crazy and stupid. And they don't care. They love it. But then again, can you get mad at them? Not really, because it's their shit. They can do what they want with their stuff. And I think the sooner we accept that, the sooner we can build something of our own. Stop getting mad. Don't get mad. Just get even. Don't get mad. Just go compete. Don't get mad. Just go start building. Don't get mad. Just move on. Get out. Get away from it. I don't turn on the TV no more hardly. I'll watch some stuff. Some stuff that white people make in the movie theater is good enough to watch. Like, I'll watch, I like the Avengers movies because I just think that they're cool. By the way, a black man got that started, in case you don't know. Wesley Snipes and Blade was the first Marvel reboot that was successful, because before that there was Howard the Duck, and that was garbage. But Blade actually got them thinking, like, hey, we can resurrect all these superheroes and make movies and make money. And give props to Wesley Snipes for that. Just a little side note. I like Game of Thrones, even though it's racist as hell. The black men are either savages. One was a pirate who would rob people or something, and the other one was the other black men have no penis. Literally, I'm not kidding. And that really fits. Like, on a subconscious but not so subconscious level, it kind of fits. A white feminist, feminized kind of agenda, because that's the thing. That's what they've always fear. They've always had the fear of a black planet and the fear of a black penis. Like those are two things when we got off the slave ship and they saw what we were working with and they saw that the white women like that stuff too. That was when they said, okay, we've got to make sure we control this. And that's why when they would lynch black men, they would remove that vital body part. They would cut the penis off. Like, why are you obsessed with my penis? What's going on here? Well, that's what's going on, right? So it's not a coincidence, in my opinion, that the black people in Game of Thrones all happen to have no penis. I think in their mind that makes them safe. Like, okay, he's not going to hurt me with this big, brutal, violent penis. And y'all know those people are how violent they are. Anyway, hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the thumbs up button if you haven't done this yet. I want to say thank you to Ray Royster for your support. I appreciate you. And thank you, Kareem, for your support as well. So let me read a little more of this article so we can kind of cover this. And by the way, you're at drboystv.com, the home for intelligent black people. In case you want to know what we believe in the Black Core of Three. The Black Core of Three is that we believe black people should create our own jobs, educate our own children, and support black businesses. Those are the three things we need to do. If we do those three things on an abundant level, then we will achieve not just equality, but we will achieve superiority. We will actually advance past other communities. I believe that. So anyway, so let's see here. It says many people in Houston land on both sides of the fence after Memorial High School students this week surfaced in viral videos wearing basketball jerseys with questionable accessories for Spirit Week. The school allowed students to wear jerseys for one of the approved theme days on Tuesday, but some student made inappropriate and unapproved additions. The district said in a prepared statement. The collection of photos shared on social media, which has received 15,000 retweets and 48,000 likes, shows the students wearing do-rags, fake tattoos, and gold chains as part of their attire. The school canceled the remaining theme days for Spirit Week. Some people said they didn't find the attire offensive at all and equated it to kids just having fun. Now, some people, they go through the article. This is on Houston Chronicle or Chron.com. By the way, Houston's where we're hosting the All Black National Convention the weekend of September 27th. So just mark it on your calendar. You should come to the convention. You're going to love this. But, you know, it's interesting because I have to admit, I'm not particularly offended by what a teenager does. Like, you know, first of all, I learned that just spending my whole life being offended all the time isn't the best use of my energy. I'm just going to say that to tell you the truth. I think that we spend a lot of time reacting to what other people do. And when somebody knows they can just trigger you and throw you off your game real easy, they're going to keep doing that. It's like a basketball game. You know how basketball players will talk to get in the other player's head? Because they know that if you spend all your time talking back and reacting to him, you're not going to be able to focus on scoring or playing defense. You're going to be so mad and so out of your head that you're going to lose your game. So black people, for the most part, because of our insecurities and because of our extensive need for white validation, we get easily offended when white people say something bad about us. And that implies that in general, we're not very good at competition yet. But it's not your fault. Don't worry. The slavery thing kind of did that. It's going to take some time. The reason it's not your fault is because all through slavery, if you read books like Black Labor, White Wealth, I have this one here. If you read Dr. Claude Anderson's book, Black Labor, White Wealth, he talks extensively about specific laws and doctrines that were put in place that were specifically designed to keep black people uncompetitive, to keep us off balance and all these other things, and to keep us divided and hating each other and all this other stuff. So it's not really your fault, that you react to everything a white person ever says about you. But I'm just here to tell you that was the plan. That's part of the plan. So when I talk about this Thug Day kind of thing, I'm not particularly mad. I honestly there's not a 16-year-old kid that can really say something that's gonna hurt my feelings. Like you try to hurt my feelings. Honestly, I'm like, fuck you. Like, whatever. Like, let me hurt your feelings back. I'll do a better job than you. How about that? Right? So I'm a man, right? I'm not supposed to be in that category anyway. But here's the thing. Here's the reason I took the time to talk about this Thug Day phenomenon. The problem with this is that, when you see something like this happen, there's an immediate reaction. There are people that either say, okay, this is fine, this is not a big deal, which is wrong, right? It is a big deal. But then there are people who say, no, that's racist, that's racist, that's racist. Okay, explain exactly how it's racist and exactly how this matters and how we can actually address this in a productive way, right? So what do I mean by that? Well, A lot of white folks perpetuate racism, perhaps inadvertently, by attacking the wrong stuff, right? Like a lot of times we talk about race and racism, we're always talking about little stupid shit. Like I went to the grocery store and I had a tomato in my hand, and the lady assumed I was trying to steal the tomato because I'm black. Like, who cares? Like, that's, I mean, that's fine. Like, yeah, maybe she thinks black people steal, or maybe she thinks you couldn't afford, you couldn't afford the Gucci purse. People say, I went to the store and they act like I couldn't afford it. And whatever. That's not the real racism that affects black people in America. The racism that affects black people, at least those who try to integrate into the system. Now, I personally made a conscious decision to get out of it. Like one of my self-help, self-healing processes was to get as far away from white folks as I could, not because I hate them, not because I can't be around a white person. It's just I can't work for most white people because I can't. The racism, I break out in hives. When you start treating me in a certain way, I get very angry, and I turn into the Incredible Hulk, and then I get fired on my day off, and then you're scared and you're calling the cops, and it just doesn't work, right? So I knew that I had to get away from that. But the thing is that when you talk about black folks that are integrated into our society, there are these crossover points where blacks and whites have to interact, right? So there is, the time when you're at work and you got a boss that's white, and they don't understand you, and they either don't give you the job, or when they give you the job, they don't give you the promotions and raises you deserve. They don't treat you the same as they treat the white employees, and then you're just pissed off every day, and then you die of a heart attack at the age of 45 because the stress is built up, and you're just you just die, right? That's why black men die so early. Other examples might be the criminal justice system. A black man's on trial, and there's some jury full of white people. Like you have the Albert Wilson case, a black man who was on trial for being accused of raping a white woman. No evidence that he did anything. Only evidence is that he kissed her, and he was alone with her for 5 minutes. So if it was a rape, it was the fastest rape in history, and it was also the most invisible rape in history because there's no evidence of vaginal penetration. There's no evidence that he put something in her mouth. There's no evidence of anything. There's only white woman's words and white woman's tears. And so Albert Wilson gets 12 years in prison, maybe because those people, when they're thinking about him and they're looking at him and they're trying to imagine, they have no proofs. They have no evidence. They have no video. They have no witnesses. So the only thing that they can do is use their imagination to decide if he might have done it or not. So in their white little minds, they're picturing him. They're imagining, like, I wonder what this big black buck of a black man does in the bedroom. Does he look like somebody that would rape a woman? And they're like, wait a minute, he's a thug. Like, all these young black men are thugs because that's what I see every time I turn on the media. And they like being thugs. They brag about being thugs. They brag about raping and murdering and robbing people because that's all they do in their music. So yeah, he probably did this. So we don't know if he really did it or not. But in my white little mind, because I've been indoctrinated through this Jewish-owned, white-owned media for many, many years to believe that all black men are thugs, then I better go ahead and do the safe thing, which is to lock him up and make sure that he's gone. Because again, remember, the black man in the minds of most Americans is a beast. He's an animal. And with an animal, again, you either want the animal in a cage, on a leash, or in a casket. If the cage and the leash don't work, or he breaks off the leash and he looks like he's going to hurt somebody, you put him in a casket. The only time you let the animal come into your house, especially if it's like a big, evil, nasty, horny dog, is what do? They neuter him, right? That's why Game of Thrones, all the black men ain't got no dicks. Like, it's all connected. It's all connected in the sense that that's why men in Hollywood that do well, black men in Hollywood that do well, are the feminine men. Terry Crews and his old big ass, 6'4", 6'2", 245 pounds, run around in a wig and a dress. Looking like a damn Girl Scout with muscles. Like, seriously, bro? Like, really? And you're talking about you part of the Me Too movement because this man grabbed your crotch and there's nothing you could do about it? So effectively, the men that do well in Hollywood tend to be the ones that are the most feminized. That's what it is, right? The same way that if you have a pit bull or some sort of angry dog or a bear or a lion, they'll say, okay, well, if we're gonna have a bear, in the house around the kids, we're gonna shave off the claws. We're gonna make sure the teeth aren't too sharp. We're gonna do everything we can to make sure even then a bear is still dangerous. But any sort of animal, they will do things to neuter the animal, weaken the animal, so the animal won't be aggressive, right? So the black man, in order for him to really fit into certain spaces, he has to be neutered. psychologically, not so much physically. I mean, thank God they don't cut our junk off, but you know, but the neutering process, or at least as a black man, you have to come in and show from the jump that you have no testosterone. Thank you, Frederick, or that you are not that you are self-oppressed. You know, that you're not going to be a threat, that you're not going to come in with any aggression or any sort of ambition or be a threat on any level. So that's why I tell you all, and I've mentioned it 1,000 times, especially when you talk about like in Chicago, where half of all the young black men don't have jobs. Half of all the young black men in Chicago don't have jobs. Half of all the young black men in Chicago don't have jobs. And why aren't you reacting to this? Does this disturb you? Does this bother you? Does this get your attention? Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes or no? Does this disturb you? Does this amuse you? Like, yes or no? When I tell you half of all black men in Chicago don't have jobs, how do you feel when I say that? Do you think that that's something that you should see as a reason for alarm, or do you see it as just business as usual? But I bet you this. I bet you that if half of all white people in Chicago didn't have jobs, that black mayor that they just hired, that they just put into the it's not the Oval Office, whatever they call it, the mayor's office. That black female mayor that Chicago just got will be all over that shit. She would be all over that like it was World War III, like it was the end of the world. So, you know, I was watching today, and Pac was doing an interview, and Pac was talking about how he, you know, grew up as a black man in a world where he was told very early that his life does not matter. You know, so he was talking about the Black Lives Matter, my ideology, you know, 20 something years before the actual movement began. But I think in order for Black Lives to matter, it has to start with us. And so, you know, going back on this thug thing, I personally find it deeply offensive that I don't find it offensive that there are black men who choose to want to be thugs. People can be whatever they want to be. I'm not offended by that. I think what I'm offended by is the fact that the thug is always put at the front of the line, because the thug is the one who represents what they see to be the image of the black man in America. And which is why we must have our own media so we can shift that narrative. We must shift that narrative. All right, so I'm going to go in a minute. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button before you go. Please hit the thumbs up button. Also, I'll be in Philadelphia this week on Malcolm X's birthday. I'm doing a day-long investing seminar in Philadelphia. It's going to be great. You're going to love it. If you want to learn more, go to drboycephiladelphia.com. That's drboycephiladelphia.com. If you want to actually take a look at some of our financial workbooks for children, and you have kids that are going to have nothing to do this summer, or don't just send them to football camp and basketball camp, send them to boss camp, send them to entrepreneurship camp, and have them go through books like this. We cover every grade band, stocks, money, and investing. It doesn't take long for them to learn it. It should be something, money is going to be very important for them, for their power as they become adults. So you want to prepare them early. So feel free to take a look. You can go to financialworkbooks.com. That's financialworkbooks.com. Just open a black-owned bank account. Good for you. Good for you. I love that. Let me see here. The thugs are the white and blue color. Yeah, that's true. And the police are the biggest gang in the city most of the time. I want to say hey to my homeboy, Dr. Orlando Richard. Good to see you, brother. You got to send me a message, man. We got to catch up. Orlando Richard is a smart black man. He represents what I think, what I consider to be, you know, the essence of black manhood. He was a great scholar, and I remember watching him when we were at school at the University of Kentucky back in the day, and he just outshined, you know, all the white boys in school. And he worked very hard. He flew through his PhD program, and he went on to become a very successful, very distinguished professor. So I just want to know, why is it that I know more about rappers like 2 Chainz or the rapper Future than I know about people like Dr. Orlando Richard? That's the fundamental question. Why is it that when these white kids are picturing a black man, they're picturing the thug, and so when the black man shows up and he's not a thug, they're surprised, or they feel like he's not black enough, right? Why is it that being black enough means being thugged out? That's the $1 million question you got to ask. Why is it that the black male who doesn't fit the stereotype is marginalized, ostracized, and made fun of, even by his own people, even by other black people? That's the really fucked up part about it, right? It ain't just white folks saying this shit. Like white people, they didn't get it out of the sky. They got some of that from us. You got black people that co-sign on that. They really think that that's being black. Like, you dress like that, you white, you come to school dressed like that. They're like, oh shoot, Missy dressed in black today. No, she's not. Missy's dressing like a thug, but Missy ain't dressing black. I mean, being black means you can be a thug, but being a thug does not mean that you're automatically black. Or being black doesn't mean you're automatically a thug either, right? They're not the same thing. So being black means you can be a thug or you can be something else. But they're not the same thing. And that's the lie that media has told the world. And that's why your son is in danger. Because if your son ever gets in the bed with a white woman and gets accused of rape, even if she has no evidence, they're going to look at him. They're going to be like, oh yeah, he looked like a thug. Lock his ass up. Lock his ass up. So just understand, it's all connected. It ain't just me talking. This is real. This is real stuff. Go look up Free Albert Wilson, the hashtag. Albert Wilson, I think his website's freealbertwilson.com. The Albert Wilson case will blow your mind. This poor black man, I feel so bad for this brother. I mean, no evidence, no nothing. I mean, it's just sad. And it's not just him. It's happening all over the United States. All over the United States. So I'm gonna go because this stuff gives me a headache, and I gotta go to class. But I hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the thumbs up button. And again, if you want to get the workbooks for kids, you can go to financialworkbooks.com. That's financialworkbooks.com. Or the flashcards you've heard about, you can go to financialflashcards.com. So we have different URLs for different stuff depending on what you want to get. So thank you guys for your support. I love you with the bottom of my heart, and I appreciate everything. So you guys take care. Have a good day, and I'll see you soon. Be good. Peace. All right. See you later, Frederick. And let's see. Let me see. Because they're repetitious voices on social media, they also have a higher value. They say money, let's say jewelry. Yeah, I mean, well, rappers just repeat the same shit over and over again. I mean, it's a formula. One day I'll analyze